Hi friends, this is Linda and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you guys a look into my Commonplace book and kind of how I go about the process of commonplacing. So let's go ahead and dive right in. The very first thing I want to share with you guys are my supplies. So I am using a leather cover from Traveler's Notebook, and I don't tend to use Traveler's Company products or Traveler's Notebooks that much, but they're just so cute, and I really just wanted a reason to use one, and I thought a Commonplace book would be perfect. This is not something that I carry with me all the time. I update this maybe a couple times a month, usually is when I work on it. I am back filling a lot of things because this is just something that I want to just have as a practice. So I have this little charm on here, which is a camera, also from Traveler's Company, and I'm just going to open this up. Inside here, I have this zipper pouch, and this is where I keep my Commonplace key. And I just made this using a piece of scrapbooking paper and some Tomo River paper, grid paper. I stamped my title, and then I'm using these dot stickers, and I will link all of my supplies down below to identify various categories. So I do have a few more rolls over here, and I have not yet identified something for all of the colors, but these are just the colors that I have so far. Then I have my two Traveler's Notebooks in here. So I have two in here right now. I'm really only working on this first one, which is a dot grid. This one is a standard grid. I couldn't decide which one I liked more, so I kind of have one of each. I think the dot grid is more what I'm leaning towards, but I will end up using both of these before I purchase more. I have them in here with a rubber band from Traveler's Company that allows you to include two journals in one Traveler's Notebook. But I do take it out when I'm working on it, and then I use this Traveler's Company clip to just kind of hold it flat as I'm journaling. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put this on voiceover so that I can start updating my Commonplace book. So in the beginning, you can see I have my fake key, which I will go through and talk about towards the end, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about it now. But I'm looking through my dot stickers to see which ones I have, which ones I need, and I'm going to go ahead and start updating this. While I'm doing that, I'm going to talk a little bit more about commonplacing. So one of the common questions is, what is a commonplace book? So the real question, or the real answer to that question, is a commonplace book is a type of journal where you document all sorts of thoughts and facts and pieces of information that you collect from various sources to have them all in one place. I have seen a lot of people do very, very beautiful commonplace books. Other people keep them very simple. But the main idea is to have a place to store all of those random thoughts and facts and notes that you collect throughout your life. So if you're anything like me, you have a ton of random screenshots of, an interesting tidbit or instructions on how to do something or information on a place you'd like to visit, all sorts of things. And we often collect these things in various places. I know I do a lot of screenshots. I also have sticky notes with random things written down. I might put them on Pinterest or save them on my Instagram. There's just so many different ways that we can collect these pieces of information, but they end up scattered and all over the place, and we never end up actually referencing them again. And I wanted a system that could really collect all of these pieces of information into one place and help me remember them. Now, do I actually look back in here to reference things? I do occasionally. It's not impossible that I'm writing these things down and I will never look back on them, but the process of writing it down kind of helps me remember some of the details, remember where they are, and I feel good about deleting all of those screenshots, which is the most important piece to me. I'm trying to reduce my digital clutter and just clutter in general, and just having a home for these things really, really helps. If you are someone who struggles with disorganization or just wants to be more organized, one of the biggest tips I have is to have a home for everything.
We often become disorganized when we have things that we don't know where they belong, because you end up putting them in random spots. You end up with piles, with junk drawers. And if everything has a home or a place to go, then that's just not going to happen nearly as often, because you can just put those things away. So much out there to get a lot of different ideas on how your commonplace book can look. But Brandy Kincaid on Instagram is one that I really look to again and again for commonplacing content and inspiration. She has commonplace books that are simple, and she also has some that are more decorative and pretty, and that really gives you the range of what these books can be. Moving on to the next question I want to answer, which is, how do I go about updating my commonplace book? So I do this as part of my photo organization process on my computer. So I keep my photos on my computer in folders for each week. And I do this primarily because of Project Life, because I document that weekly. But I have a folder for every single week, and in that folder is every single photo from my phone that I took that week. Those are photos, those are screenshots, they're all sorts of different things. And that becomes excessive over time. I have not shared a video on digital organization simply because I am not that organized digitally, not because I don't have a plan, but I just don't keep up with my system. But I'm trying. So what I do is every so often when I'm ready to work on my craft or my digital organization, I will go through those folders and sort things out. All of the photos that are photos that I took of my life, I will go through and delete duplicates, blurry ones, or ones that I just don't really want anymore. Of the screenshots, anything that is like an inspiration. A lot of times I will screenshot something I see on Instagram because it's a great project idea, or a picture of, it's just some sort of thing that is going to inspire me to do a project, a picture of a pretty journal spread or something along those lines. I will upload all of those to my Pinterest. A lot of people, I think, don't realize that Pinterest is not just able to save images from websites or places that you find things online, but you can also upload photos. If I upload a screenshot, I make sure that I have the entire screenshot so you can see whose Instagram I screenshotted or whose YouTube I screenshotted. I tend to keep a lot of my Pinterest private, however, just because I am saving things that are inspiration from other people's sources that are not linked back to the original image. So although I can see who it came from when I do ultimately take inspiration from it so that I can credit the source, I don't want to be circulating other people's images on Pinterest without a link to the original source. So I do make those private Pinterest pages, but I do have a lot of screenshots that I've uploaded from people's videos, from people's Instagrams, all of the places that I find inspiration. So I will upload those to my Pinterest, and then I will delete them off of my computer so that they are no longer taking up space on my cloud or my computer. Instead, they are simply on Pinterest, which gives you unlimited free storage to save those pins. Next, I will take all of the screenshots of things or photos of things that I saved for commonplacing. So those might be a screenshot of an article, or it could be a photo of a page in my book because I really wanted to save a quote from it. And I will take all of those and put them into a folder for commonplacing, which is what I did prior to filming this video. Then you've seen me a couple times reach over and click on my mouse. That is because I am clicking to another photo in that folder on my computer, and I'm using that photo as reference to write down whatever I need to write in my commonplace book. After I write it down, I go ahead and delete the photo off of my computer. I also deleted all of these photos off my phone camera roll once I drag and drop them onto my computer into their respective folders. I will have deleted them from my phone. Sometimes I will save a lot of my favorite photos on my phone or reference things that I still need frequently, like my daughter's school schedule, but most of those things are no longer living on my phone, and so when I delete them from my computer, they are gone entirely, other than what I've written down in this commonplace book. The next question I want to mention is not really a question, but point I want to mention is about on this page, you can see that thing cut out and glued from a magazine. And I think I talked about this in the live portion of this video, but I do just want to make a note that my Commonplace journal is very, very plain. I don't add decoration. The only thing I'm really adding are the dot stickers, which are references to this key in case I'm flipping through it for a specific topic. Sometimes I will flip through here saying, oh, I want a quote to a hand letter into my journal. So I will just look at the dot color sticker that is for quotes, and I will just flip through and look at all of the quotes. And that gives me an easy way to see just those things. I guess the last question that I should address is how often do I update this? And I have gotten that one, but I don't really have a good answer for it. I guess the answer is whenever I feel like it. Which turns out to be once a month or every couple of months. I don't really have that much that I save to put in here. Some of what I'm adding in here now is back stuff because I did have things saved, screenshots from the past couple of years when I wasn't keeping a Commonplace book and I didn't really have a home for them. So sometimes what I'm doing is just going back and filling in those things that I saved previously. But if I'm doing things that I've saved currently, I really don't save that much, maybe like 10 things a month, if that, but I go through phases. Sometimes I'm saving a lot more and other times nothing. So it really depends on just if I feel like working on this, if I have a lot to add to it, and if I have the time. Okay, so now I think that really is all of the questions that I got. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put on music to finish out this portion of the video, and I will pop back on and walk you through what I completed at the end. If you have any more thoughts or questions that I didn't address in this video, please leave them down below and I will save them for my next Commonplace Journal update. So I added a little bit in here today. You saw there. I just wanted to give you a quick flip through of where I am with this so far this year. I haven't decorated the cover or anything, but I'm thinking I probably will, but I'll wait until it's done so that it doesn't get messed up. And I'll move on to volume 2, which will be this brown one that is a grid rather than a dot grid. I left this page blank for now, and then this was my original key. And what I had done was kind of put all of the dot stickers on here and then started creating categories. I know a lot of people when they Commonplace only have like 4 or 5 categories, but I have a lot of things that I'm interested in, and I just wanted more specific categories. So I have a lot of flexibility and a lot of categories here. You saw me actually add a couple categories today. This was just looking messy to me. So, and it was hard because when I'm working on it, I have to flip back and forth
to find it. So I created this key, which works great because I can move it along with me while I'm working on my Commonplace book, and it has only the ones that are already assigned to only the colors that are already assigned to a category. I might sometimes still need to flip here though, because this does tell me which ones are on which rolls, because here I see these 5 in a row. That's these 5 on this roll. So there's a lot of colors, like these 2 blues are kind of similar. So if I just looked on here and was like, I need parenting and I don't know which roll it's on, that's hard to find. But going on here, I might need to look at this page to figure that out. That said, my guess is once I'm done with this book, I will just adhere these pages all together. So it starts right here on page 1, or I will come up with another like cover page and cover these up. Flipping into the start here, what I'm doing is I'm just creating a margin that's 4 squares in on each side to add my colored dots. And when I have something more specific of a category, I'm writing it underneath it. So for this one is a health and beauty, but it's specifically about nail damage or fingernails. So I just wrote the word nails in there. And this key is just for me to quickly find things. So say I'm looking for an inspiring quote, I know to look for this tan color. That shows up quite a few times because that is one that I do document a lot. If I'm looking for like a medical thing, I'm gonna look for this color, but then I can see here, this is medical, but it's also about COVID. And so I have all of these notes here of just random things that I've added. You can see I'm doing very, very specific, like basic with, I'm using a Sarasa mark-on 0.5, and I'm not really adding any color or anything. I'm writing slowly and just focusing on the process and my handwriting. The only decoration I'm adding is using this clean color dot zig marker, and it's in gray, which I think they call this like slate, I want to say. I'm not sure it even says on here, but it's the gray color, platinum, that's what it's called. It's the gray color, and I use it to create dots when I want to make a bullet list, either like a numbered list like I did there, or like this one is just bullets. I did decide to add this cutout here. I think I will actually end up cutting some things out and adding them in. This was from a magazine. I took the header and then I used my pen and my bullet marker to add like the subtitles from the article and kind of summarize it. I could see myself also typing up or printing out some digital articles where I want to save more of it as opposed to just writing down the notes. I know some people will fully copy an entire article in here, and that just seems possibly a little too time consuming for me. I want this process to be fun and I want to like savor the process, but I don't want to feel overwhelmed. And if I'm telling myself to copy like a 3-page article, that is just going to make my hand sore. It's going to take a long time and it's not going to accomplish my goals of keeping a commonplace book. This is not something I'm documenting that often. I pull it out when I'm feeling like it. I tend to grab pieces of things that I want to save through screenshots, or just I save them on Pinterest. And then when I'm ready to fill this in, I will go through all of my saved screenshots, write them down here, and then delete those images so that everything is stored nicely in here. So far it is February and I have gotten 6 pages filled in here. I do see myself filling quite a few more pages, but I don't really have a pressure on myself as far as how many I want to fill by the end of the year. Some of these are like the book quotes, for example. Book quotes are purple. These are from books that I'm reading. Often I will just take a photo of the page when there's a quote I want to remember, and then I'll just copy it down in here when I am working on this. And I'm using all capitals to designate the author and the name of the book. I think that pretty much covers where I am now. If you have any questions or comments for me, please leave them down below. And as always, I hope to see you guys all in the next one. Bye.